fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. On we'll go, finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest, echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
Welcome back. We are the final series of the night between Boom Esports and Reality Rift. It is of course MLP Dota and Danog. Danog, how you doing, mate? After that last game. Breathe it in.
10 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
No, it definitely does not.
5 seconds remaining.
That's to a victory if they can, and that'll mean Detroit, I believe, will get knocked to the lower bracket, and Boom will make their way up. Earlier on, just tweeting out to the side of Reality Rift, asking them to 2-0 Boom Esports, which is a bit ironic, Adroit. You were talking trash to RR a long time ago when we first started the tournament, so well, it comes back to bite you, doesn't it? But maybe RR can do it. This is Boom Esports, one of the harder teams in this group, I would dare say. RR, there is a chance. Just depending on what they draft now. We'll start off with the Beastmaster.
Okay, so they started with this Beastmaster, obviously very strong. Boom, if they get the first pick, basically lock in the Shaker first every single time. So the fact that it's been able to slip through, not banned, not picked up first, I wonder if they're going to go for the same.
I do wonder.
We saw how effective it can be in that last game, right?
That's very true. They will start off with the Pulse 5 Witch Doctor, which I'm seeing a lot up against these Beastmasters. It seems though every time, well, not every time, but for certain teams, if a Beastmaster is first picked against them, they will go into that Witch Doctor Pulse 5.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's so great against the Beastmaster, right? Not only do you always typically have something to bounce between,
5 seconds remaining.
but wars are creeps, so the stun lasts for 5 seconds. It's pretty nuts.
It is kind of insane. That is going to allow you to get through those balls, and it kind of makes you wonder with I believe it is going to be KYXY on that Beastmaster this game. It makes you wonder whether he'll even bother going for the balls. Maybe just go for the Axis build and not really feed away those balls with that paralyzing cast flying out from that Doctor. They do go for the Ursa as their second pick now, Boom Esports. So fairly standard stuff. Nothing too shocking coming out here. Alright.
I mean, there's still the Chen and the Enchantress in the. Not that they would really pick and have a good first go in the Witch Doctor, and I guess just going for something a little bit more confident in that Witch Doctor. Kez Cute, it's one of his heroes, so why not? Still that Shaker in the pool. I'm a little surprised at
that there is. Alright. Want that Shaker, you can take it right now. We've seen Husky play it a few times.
Oh.
No, they'll go for the Queen of Pain. It's another very popular pick. As a matter of where they're going to play it, though, I believe Hustler has played the POS 4 Queen of Pain a couple times now. So, could imagine in that role. Of course, Lackley can play it as well on his own. Or they could do something really weird. Run the mid Beastmaster offlane quap, which has happened a few times. Believe me, that'll get
oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I won't put anything past anyone after what we just saw in that previous series. So, it's, finally the Shaker ban does come. So obviously, not wanting to that's able to disable from long range, especially that quap.
The Boom Esports looking to make their final ban out now. It's kind of opening from RR because you're kind of so open with this draft. And I've got to say as well, one thing I have noticed with this Reality Rift team, because we have cast them a lot, is they tend to, if they do go Beastmaster, they tend to like throwing a DK in there somewhere. Now, I don't know kind of draft. I guess if you force the POS 4 quap, you could maybe run the mid DK. You seem to enjoy running that kind of very push-orientated style lineup with that Beastmaster.
Radiant team, pick.
Like that's something that they pick a fair amount. It means that you do have that little bit of flexibility between where you toss that pain. I don't mind it all too much, and you are able to be flexible enough. I guess it's not great into the Ursa though, because you can just use that in range to get out of
pick.
And you don't really want
the trees.
Not a counter, but another core that's just superior to yours in a way that just immediately invalidates one of your skills.
That's fair enough. Well, they're not going to bother yet. They are going to think about it. Boom Esports, they go for that Nature's Prophet. Seen a hell of a lot of that, obviously, being run, especially in the mid lane.
10 seconds remaining.
See Boom Esports wanting to pick that up.
5 seconds
It can be
remaining.
a little bit questionable to the quad, but overall it seems pretty good.
I don't mind Boom actually picking up Ember for themselves, you know? Good initiation against the Queen of Pain, you could follow it through nature damage, and of course in gives Ursa a little bit of time to set up, as well as the Witch Doctor, and yeah, if you go that Maelstrom build deal with it's a decent way as well.
Alright, still having to think about this third pick. Will they take the Ember themselves, or will Boom just take it for themselves? We'll have a very, very long think about this one. Not really much writing here. Writing this game, unless they want to keep Boom in the low. That's what they. I believe they might have to play against them though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing, right? If they can 2-0 them, they can beat them in the lower bracket. So why not?
That's very true.
Better the devil you know.
Good point. They do get the Grimstroke, which is pretty nice with that Queen of Pain. The Blink Inkswell is a support combination we've been seeing from these POS 4 quaps, if that's what they are to run. Very, very effective, because, yeah, just Inkswell Blink, get a guaranteed stun. But Boom Esports, they will respond with the Phoenix now.
Nice to get that double roar off as well, although it pushes them apart and actually breaks the link a lot of the time, so... if they're looking to get any sort of follow-up damage onto... I guess they don't really have anything else targeted at strike, but like if they're stunned up for that long enough, you want to get off a Sonic Wave instead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's the one way to play it here for RR. They are going to go into their fourth pickup now. They may feel like they need a way to deal with this Phoenix, because you don't see the best ways of getting that egg going down in a team fight. Like, we've got the Quap who can blink in and try to deal with it.
See a Snapfire actually come out here from Reality Rift. Good way to deal with the Phoenix. You can cookie someone outside of the Nature's Prophet Sprout if it gets that later on. And, you know, you've got a decent amount of lockdown yourself, right? If you can even just get the blink off with this Grimstroke, then you can just toss out the Mortimer's Kisses and creates a whole lot of havoc. Exactly what Akrina Payne wants to be able to get in the right position to get off her spell.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Jug will come out for now, though, so RR do still have that option for themselves if they so wish at the last pick. They may have locked themselves in already, like in their minds, to that pos for Quap, though, I've got to say.
5 seconds remaining.
Alacrity is usually the one who gets the last pick in a draft from this team. Pretty much every single time I've watched them, but I still do think there is a lot of value in that snap if you did want to run it.
Yeah, and like, what has he been playing? A lot of Shadow Fiend. I know it's quite common for play that Ember Spirit that we about a little bit.
Yeah.
Main two, I think. With
Yeah,
the sorry, go ahead.
There is the TA as well. He does tend to do quite well on that TA, but I don't think it's quite the game for it.
With the I want to go in and try and lane this on as well, because back when Ursa wasn't like it was being played in the position for a little while, it was one of those heroes that you really liked laning into the Juggernaut, because you didn't really care all too much about the spin, because you've got faster movement speed than him to start the game. You can always just leap out of it. And then when he comes forward to try and deny or contest last hits, you just hit him and you get the better part of the trade. So I wonder if Boom are going to try and finagle their lanes a little bit to favorable match.
10 seconds remaining.
Could be the case. I wouldn't blame them for that. That seems to be the way to play this out.
Always don't really want to have an Ursa into a Beastmaster, right? The boars pass you down, so nice to have the Nature's Prophet be able to things from range.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair enough. Boom, they do ban out the Storm last phase ban, so it would have been a free Storm game, but not any longer. Void Spirit also being removed by RR now, and their final pickup. Looking for that Alacrity mid, unless he is going to run that Quap. I mean, if he is running the Quap, then we're looking for a pos 4 here for Hustler. Just wonder what he wants to go for.
10 seconds remaining.
Still be a Grim.
Okay, yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Definitely that possibility if RR want to try and run that. Not much time left to make the decision though, about 15 seconds reserve time now. Boom Esports will only have 4 seconds for their final pickup. What are you thinking about this?
Radiant team, pick.
Dusk.
Okay, alright, so it is the mid Quap and they can run the Tusk pos 4.
It's alright. Yeah, you can run away all that effectively on the Nature's Prophet, which is fine. You can dodge out a lot of this stuff like Maledict ticks and task bounces, the Supernova stun. You can save as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Against you, so yeah, I don't mind it. You can even push people outside of the Sprout as well if you're on dry shards.
Right. Very true. Boom. Left. Hey, do go for the
Go ahead.
Okay.
Select your hero.
That's not one you see. That does pop out here and there.
So mid. From Mr. McCo.
Alright, so they're running the mid jug then, unless...
Maybe it's just a comfort style, sort of. I don't know how I feel about mid jug. Maybe they are just worried about this thing that we were talking about, the Ursa lane. Wanting
10
to
seconds
that,
remaining.
and Ursa's not great at mid, or rather
5 seconds
heroes,
remaining.
aka Makoto, that you want to pump a bit more of that experience into.
Could be. So, it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure about this. Like, are you running the safe lane jug here for Alacrity and run the Drew mid? I just don't see that happening. Boomer, they're fairly standard. Like, you know, Makoto's going mid with that Prophet, and Dreamer Cell should be in the either the safe lane or up against the jug. Perhaps you just don't want to force the jug to verse the Ursa in lane. Like you were mentioning before, they could swap the lanes around here for Boom.
I mean, maybe that is what they're trying to do, right? Because you want to have Doom running into a Beastmaster as well, right? Is that you've got a board?
We'll see very, very soon how this is all going to pan out. So, of course, the first game between these two, the final series of the night. So it's obviously just on betting odds would be the favorites here, I'd say. And, I do like this draft for them. I think if Dreamsaw just gets the space, which he usually does fine anyway, it could be a real concern for RR. You were kind of talking about your Page being one of those players that could be up and coming in C, or basically is, and I think Dreamsaw could be another hero of Boom Esports. He's been performing really well on this POS 1.
You really
Kodo
should
as well.
prepare
He's
for
been
battle.
impressing me a fair amount. I think he's right up there in terms of his actual ranking too.
I can't disagree with you on that. He has been very on point. I guess Makoto makes his job look so smooth that you don't really notice it sometimes when you're casting. But see how he does this game around. They are actually running the... Drew's going to be in the off lane as the Quap. He'll be there with the Grimstroke for now, so Nuts will be there with him. They do also have Hustler there, who generally does like to try and go for the first blood attempt with the Tusk. And they're going to run the safe lane Alacrity jump. Alright.
Last hit secured already for FBZ, devouring a... coming out to
30 seconds
the Hawk.
to battle.
Very nice. Good efficiency from FBZ.
Is this on?
And it also looks like KYXY is running the mid Beastmaster. So that is happening up against the Prophet of Makoto. Does that actually favor the Beastmaster though?
Maybe just wanting to get some... so that he can rotate, because you're going to be worried about the fact that this Prophet is making that similar sort of rotations. So while he's doing that, you can just pressure the towers a lot easier than, let's say, a Queen of Pain.
Fair enough.
I'm very ominous. Prophet
That it does. Quick pause coming out from both these two teams, and should be back to it any second. I'm sure Boom Esports as well should be expecting this first blood attempt from RR down this bot lane. Just seen it over and over again with Hustler. He'll always try and go for that first blood with the Tusk tag team, and you might even just go for the Inkswell if you're Nuts right now. I mean, you probably won't. You'll probably just go for the Stroke of Fate, but I wouldn't really be bothered if he did go for the Inkswell just to really try and confirm that first blood with tag team along with it.
Yeah. And perhaps that's why they put down this Steep Observer Ward, just to make sure you can see any sort of rotations that might be coming through. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
With Dreamer Cell, what's he doing in a different guild to the rest of his team? He's in guild KFC, which isn't, you know, the one that we all know and love. It's the Cancusa Fans Club.
Who's that?
I guess it's maybe a player that he knows.
Okay, alright. I don't know why he's separated from his team, but it does happen, I suppose.
We've seen it on TNC, where everyone else is part of the Tim's Guild and KP's part of the Oceanic Players Association, so very important to rep people.
I did point that out actually during your cast. I'm not part of that guild, unfortunately. I'm part of a competitive guild with, I guess we're sort of competing with you guys. And trying to compete for the highest levels, I guess.
Well, if there are any Australian people sort of in that Honestly, we don't care about ranks. We're nearly level 8. Reach out and send me your resume about why you want to join.
For just for the sake of saying so, we are level 8 already.
Have you completed your guild challenges this week, though?
Me?
The ones you get from the guild, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I believe so. I'll check after this. We'll have a gander and
All right.
we'll confirm. Why do you ask? Why does that matter?
Because we haven't yet, and they're worth like 10 times the points that you get from just doing your individual quest.
Fair enough. I believe we have the last time I checked. So maybe that'll put you over the edge there. Get you to that level 8 stage.
It's really important to get to level 10 really quick. I feel like that's where the get an extra guild contract spot. You get extra tips per week, which obviously really important, and extra guild challenges. Oh, in the ice frog mode. Yeah.
It'd be nice.
6 minutes left, say the admin.
Yeah, it's I mean, we are having a PC restart, so it's gonna take a bit of time. He'll be back soon enough. Whose draft did you favor, by the way? I never really asked you that. Like, did you look at one of the drafts and just thought it was better overall?
I feel like it was... I needed to see how exactly they were going to do the lanes, right? Because there was just so much variability that could come into the equation. I'm still not sure, honestly. I need to wait until like a minute into the game until... you know, the supports rotate to where they're actually going to be laning to make sure they get that body block off of the, to make that sort of choice, right? Because there is a lot of immediate counters that we can see. For example, on Boom's side, it's great to have a Doom against a Beastmaster, but he's probably not. It's great to have an Ursa against the Juggernaut, probably not going to be laning there. So it's like, how exactly are things going to pan out is what I'm waiting.
Yeah. Exchange some tips here between the Prophet Makoto and of course the Ursa being played by Dream herself.
It's a shame I can't tip you right now.
Thank you for that, Daniel. I appreciate. I tip you back, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Do need the battle points, I've got to say. I'm a bit broke. Can't really afford the levels right now. Wait for the sale.
You wait, yeah, the discount bundle. You waiting for that one?
Yeah. I wonder if they'll make it bigger this time, I've got to say, because there has been a few complaints about how many levels you can earn without spending money. So I wonder if they make the bundle bigger.
I want to see, because they've got that big mode coming up, right? Which is similar to what Silt Breaker was a few years ago. I'm interested to see how much content there is with that, as well as how many battle pass levels you can get through that, because if there's a fair amount, then I think that's perfectly reasonable, because like they very rarely play Dota, like they're just not Dota players, but they bought the battle pass when Siltbreaker was out just for that, because it was such a solid game mode.
It was fun, I will admit. I do hope they put quite a few levels into that game. We'll see. Hopefully. But I'd rather just the new patch come out tomorrow, honestly. I'm kind of eager to have a new meta. So
yeah. Out tomorrow or on as soon as this tournament finishes?
There is some entertainment value though in having a patch mid-tournament, but I'm sure that the BTS boys would probably prefer it, you know, be after, for the sake of, you know, having a competitive tournament.
Unless you're right in saying, like, what if it finished in it came out in 3 hours, right? In the group stage and the playoffs, there was a patch that everyone needed. Maybe Neon would be annoyed with that, because it seems like they've really got things figured out unless they dive the fountain.
We'll have to wait a few weeks anyway. They gave us the time frame.
This is it. The battle begins.
And it's Valve time, you know.
It's almost guaranteed.
Are we starting now?
Still, Boom Esports, the Radiant side, gonna start the laning stage off. So Makoto's guaranteed to be on the Prophet there in the mid lane. they are going to try and force Dream Missile up to that top lane there on the Ursa. And it seems as though they are going to start off with an aggressive tri-lane here with this Ursa. But they are going to find Alacrity as well. So this is not really the matchup they necessarily wanted on RR, but that's what they get.
Yep. Liking this. Still is able to get something going here against Alacrity. That'd be hype. Yeah, the real pressure is on them to get something happen in the next 15 seconds or so that you can make that rotation down to bottom if that was the plan.
Escu's going to stick around on that Witch Doctor, just waiting for that right moment. He won't be aware there. They definitely know he's missing somewhere. Left FBZ down bottom load, and the tag team's going to be activated there from Hustler, so FBZ will take a substantial amount of damage on that Doom, but we'll have a salve just in case. Kesku, he...
Revealed himself.
Okay.
Hyde still got off the body block, so... It's out of the lane.
Still going to wait around. In fact, he's going to go for the paralyzing cast now, but it's not really going to do too much. Like Hyde's going for the pull on the side creeps. Neutral creeps and... Okay, so they're sticking to this tri-lane. I thought they may TP Kesku or Hyde back down to help out the Doom a little bit, but they are dead set on making sure that this Jug cannot farm.
If Nuts is going to be on point with Sing, he's already got the Sentry Ward and another Observer purchase. Speaking of, he might be in a bit of trouble here.
And Nuts getting dived on there. Kesku's going to be around and have some follow-up damage. Nuts with the install may survive. He doesn't get Fairy Fire. Kesku will be the first one to go down. Alacrity picks it up. So that first blood attempt works against them.
It does, and that's the advantage of, I suppose, only being in a dual lane as opposed to a tri-lane. You had that level 2 picked up on the Tusk, so you had that snowball follow-up.
Great rotation from Hustler. They are going to bring Kesku back up with the TP as well, so again, just dedicated to running that try. I mean, Hustler can stick around here up with Nuts, and now I kind of ask the question, which tri-lane is better? Because I feel like any tri-lane with a Grimstroke plus Tusk just automatically wins out against another tri-lane.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard ask for them to be able to turn it around, but even solo kill down here with Drew.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to leave the Doom alone like this. Not until he gets a few more levels. And Drew now just tipping him. He's going to get a level advantage while this Doom isn't around, and he may just be able to keep harassing him out.
Like in this, the wave's pushed up a little bit here on the top side, so able to get a stack here as Hustler. Try and look to next wave, or perhaps get a little more active here.
Dive away from Hyde.
Dive away. Get this pull off as well with Hustler, so really evening out the equilibrium, and despite this vision that they've got, much against it on the Radiant side.
Definitely a nice way to start this off for RR. Of course, that mid lane is going decently for both heroes right now. Makoto is about 3 last hits ahead on the top, which is to be expected somewhat. And KYXY keeping up on the Beastmaster. You've got to be a little afraid of these mid Beastmasters, because they get that XP advantage by being in that mid lane, and the push potential that comes out of these guys is kind of insane. No one's usually ever ready for how fast they can push towers down on this hero.
Hyde might be in a little bit of trouble here. He has to use the dive away, and that just frees up this Juggernaut to have a bit of an easier time.
Does. So, run past. It's not feeling comfortable to really farm appropriately up against Alacrity underneath that tier 1 tower, so he'll stick around and keep eyes out on RR. They are contesting this side pull again. Hustler not really allowing it. That little last centaur node won't make it for creep wave. So Alacrity's just going to continue with this great equilibrium in this lane, and hard for Dreamosaur to feel comfortable.
I think what they're really doing here with Kesku is they want to wait for that level 3 paralyzing cast, really necessary to be able to secure this kill, especially when it's tri-lane v tri-lane. Alacrity might be in trouble here.
Yeah, cast comes out here, does bounce the other way anyway. He does go down, and now Dreamosaur gonna try and run. Melody came up from Kesku. Hustler's gonna be careful. He might die, and he does.
Nuts.
Now Nuts, he's trying to run away. It could be a triple, but no. So give it to Kesku, but they clear out that top lane.
Exactly what we were thinking might happen did. You know, you just leave that Juggernaut alone with the Ursa and those few wipes stacked up on top of you.
Problematic thing for that Jargon. Great start, but after that, I can't say there's so much winning that top lane anymore. They're going to try and spin off the Dreamer Cell. He does just leap away, and well, now Kensuke, they feel confident to just turn around with the cast again.
Makoto's
It's
here.
Makoto. He's TPing in. Benedict is there in Alacrity.
Oh,
That was an aggressive spin. Snowball may save the day, but that Melodic should take him out. Does.
Got him.
Indeed. And, I mean, I guess you force a rotation from Makoto, but I believe they're going to try for a very early Tier 1 tower push.
They will, but look at KYXY. He's got the double bores, he's got the siege creep, so you do need to rotate back very shortly.
Radiant's structures
Gonna be a problem.
are fortified. Radiant's
Makoto's not
middle
going back.
tower is
It's fine.
ready
Kensuke
to
can push it out.
I have no reason to lie
Daddy
about
cat.
such things.
So I don't mind this
Dyer's
very,
top
very
tower
early
is being
Tier 1
attacked
tower
like
time.
nobody's business. Dyer's structures are fortified.
There's no way to stop this, and it's going to make the map slightly smaller here
Dyer's
for that
top tower
jump.
is under attack.
Even Nuts now getting dived on again by Dreamer Cell, just trying to survive. He get things for lock. Dream will have to try and climb out. No. It does connect. T1 goes down. Nuts still on the run. Should die and does. Very easy kill out for the Ursa.
And that's some solo experience going his way. Hustler as well has been caught out. He's only level 2, so doesn't have the ice shards to be able to juke out.
Snowballs, but it's not going to be enough. Dreamer Cell just on the chase. It's going to be a double kill for the Ursa. That is a concern. That is already his 4th kill of the game, and it's not exactly like he's been farming badly either. He does have 30 last hits.
Well, with this build that Drew's gone, yeah, he's doing a good job in the bot lane. He's neck and neck essentially with the cores on side. Oh, FBZ here, they should get this kill.
Yeah, nice one. He does commit the doom straight off the bat. Makoto's going to come in and try and get a trade. FBZ does like, but you're going to find this pos 1 flop. There was no...
Went for the deny.
Now Nuts, oh, it's just not a great game for Nuts thus far. Can he get burned out? Makoto will take the kill on the Prophet. I mean, it's 2k net worth advantage very early on.
TP stopped by Alacrity as well. He
Radiant's
wanted to be able to
middle
influence
tower
that.
is under
There's
attack.
Cutie standing right next to this
I have no
camp.
reason
He's
to
like,
lie about such
I could
things."
make something happen on top of you, but I don't really need to. I'm just going to try and steal it when I can. 6 being picked by Alacrity, though. You need to be careful.
Yeah, that Omni Slash does hurt. They are trying to force in that mid wave again. It seems like KYXY going to be there up onto FBZ, but TPs are in. Now the Sprout KYXY, he's been Benedicted up. He does roar onto the Witch Doctor. Now the Sonic Wave from Drew will be nice to secure that Witch Doctor, but Makoto, can he finish KYXY? Well, the Melodic will. While Hyde, he will also die a bit. Hustler, maybe he just dies again. Sunray is out. They will just follow him down all the way, and eventually he does die to the sun.
也是一个没有感情的刷钱机器。
And Hyde dies to the tower.
Why not, right? You just deny yourself off and Drew. He has blink, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I like the rotation that Drew made there. I think it was really necessary. Like I was just to mention there on the bot side of the map. The downside of just sticking into this 1v1 lane is, of course, you want to level up the Shadow Strike so that you get the better trade out of it. Doom, you're still able to get that passive gold coming through from your Devour, right? So it's not quite as big of a deal, and it means that when you do make that rotation, you've only got the 2 points in the Scream of Pain to that huge amount of damage that you're doing. Should realize that this is warded behind the tier 1 tower because the Green of Pain did not get hit by that Wrath of Nature, and the Tusk did. So we'll see that come out from them.
Find out, they go for a smoke first. Hustler gonna lead the way.
Dyer's middle tower is
For
under
the
attack.
Kodo, nice deep wall being
Radiant's
placed, but
bottom tower is being
a
subjected
counter
to
smoke right
extreme
underneath
violence.
the ward. Oof, that's a rough one.
Plenty of
Radiant's
stuns to be able to
bottom tower
contest
is
this,
under
but it doesn't
attack.
seem like they're just yet. Maybe just getting a little bit spooked by the number of heroes that they saw there, and
Radiant's bottom tower
outnumbered
is
in a different
under
situation.
attack.
Certainly so, but the
that
thing is,
ever
top
been
lane,
cause for
Dream still trying to take the other one, Snowball won't land in time, they can't stop it, Hustler tries to take it back, Nuts can they get it? They cannot! They're about half a second off, and now Nuts, he TP'd in to try and secure that outpost, but he dies. Oh, that That's not great news.
Taste.
That ain't it.
Gold and sweet.
Macri, Haste Rune, maybe with that Omni he could at least find a pick off for himself, but it can't do it when there's two heroes around right next to each other, so I guess just back to the team now. Set up that T1 tower push down the bot lane.
Just coming bot as well, and it's a bit of a difficult position that RR might find themselves in. They've got Supernova available and now the Death Ward too, so have to make a choice if they dive too deep about which ultimate to focus.
Fancy beating.
Anyway, X-Light's thinking about it, dude. Never came out. Omni is dead. Now the egg has been dropped. Sonic Wave, they rush towards the egg and they will get them as well. SQ now going to need to make a run for it. No, here comes Premasil with that death as well. KSQ does die. They at least get the trade on Alacrity. But RR definitely going to be okay with that kind of trade
Dire's
for
top
3
tower is under attack.
Away from there.
Very happy with that through full. Not expecting the Doom so easily, so some good ult being ditched there by RR.
Being attacked like nobody's business.
Just making Premasil try and go into that range. Nuts may go down and he does. Just so much rifle damage from a Kodo.
True.
So it slowly just doesn't look quite as good now. It's a 2 for 3 trade. Still a 3k net worth advantage for Boom Esports, and I still just get so concerned for RR when I look at the net worth of the Ursa and the Nature's Prophet. Dreamersaw, he's getting very close to that very early Battle Fury timing, and kind of wonder how you deal with him after that.
Need to see this keen optic come out for KSQ. It's one of the best items that you can get at this stage of the game. Not the largest cast range on all of your abilities, so if you're able to suddenly maledict from a much safer range, especially against a Juggernaut, it's so effective. Like, you get it off and he spins, he still takes the maledict damage, same with the BKB.
At work.
He's effective.
Very
What's even more effective is Boom taking the T1 mid tower like this. Especially for RR not defending, they're trying to stroke of fate, but I believe that T1's gone now. They're just going to try and deny it. They can't. No, they can. Flappy does get that, but he comes Premasil. After Hustler. It snowballs, but nice with the ink squad. He will survive for a bit longer, but ultimately, with the Sun Ray and the extra side, Premasil will secure the kill.
It is safer now.
That is a deep dive, that's for sure. But throughout that, Drew is pushing the bot side, and I believe someone was coming up on top as well, so it's not the worst for him.
So now 14 to 8. The network lead remains 3k the way of Boom, and in all honesty, they're not going to go up this early, but they could go for a quick Roshan play if they want.
I repeat
with the
myself?
Nature's Prophet as well, just allowing those trains to tank up the Roshan hits. They're just so set up.
They are. I think they might want to take the outpost first before they make a play like that, just to prevent that easy rotation in.
True. See Dreamersaw forcing in another TP, and eventually it got cancelled off there, but Hustler was being dived by the Ursa. The snowball wasn't enough to just get him out of that situation though. Well, now you've got the Mithril Hammer up on Dreamersaw, just one item away from the Battle Fury. You've got the Orchid there on Makoto, but I'm afraid you're not really anywhere near that on Drew. And speaking of Drew, he does get jumped with that Orchid, and it's probably just going to die, although no, he's discharges up, and he does try and run, but the Nature's Wrath will kill him off.
Great understanding of the vision that he had, you know, that Observer Ward. He was going to get picked off no matter where he jumped unless it was in a perfect spot.
I would like to be
now TPing towards mid.
Dreamersaw goes down, or rather gets Nuts. Nuts goes down. Now Dreamersaw just rushes in with that haste rune. They have to roar him up to stop him from chasing, but I think he might just keep going. FBZ, he does have the ensnare there. He doesn't even need to do for this.
Kill.
Dreamersaw,
Doesn't care.
He's turning into a monster right now, this Ursa. You know, with the jump down, you tend to need a bit more time and a few more items before you're online per se. I'm getting worried for Alacrity. He may not have enough time.
No, absolutely not. Especially that has also finished Battle Fury.
I believe so.
That is not good to be happening at the 15-minute mark.
on the
Down now to
corner.
Alacrity as well. Silence coming through.
It is. He pops the drum, tries to cut his way off, and now suddenly with the death of Alacrity has the Omni. There's the egg flying out, just in case. And Alacrity, he understands he's just dead. In fact, like, I kind of wonder, was it even worth trying for the Omni Slash?
Probably not, let's be honest. I think he could have just accepted the fact that he was going to die. They popped a lot to try and take him out, so potentially have that turnaround potential. FPZ might be in a bit of trouble here, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting died. He does get the Doom off on the clock, though. So that +1 Drew, Queen of Pain, is going to die, and now they will keep chasing. Kodo doesn't have the orbit for another 5 seconds. However, Dreamer Cell, just by himself again, is killing off KYXY, and by the way, Dana, that's his 10th kill of the game.
You know, it just happens. Even though he's got this Battle Fury build, Ursa very balanced hero right now.
It's just, he hasn't died once, he's got 10 kills, there's an 8K net worth lead now for Boom Esports, and how do you buy space for the Jug now? Is my real wonder here. Like, Alacrity's still just trying to work into the Yasha after those drums.
I mean, they've been trying to do it. You know, Beastmaster, one of the big advantages of it, of course, the aura is great for laning, and it's good to have the aura so that you can easily. I feel like the Hawk is underappreciated a fair amount. It's allowed KYXY to take a lot of this riskier farm on the bottom side of the map, and only died 3 times, which isn't the worst for the type of farm that he's been getting. Yeah, I just don't feel like they've taken advantage of that space quite enough.
They haven't. Getting close to that point now as well, where FBZ and the Doom, he's going to start working towards that Blink Dagger now. Just be able to jump in and really secure either the Jug or the Quap, and that Roshan as well. There is a Hawk scared to this out. So there is turn potential here for RR to just try and get in there and deal with this. Seems the Dreamer Still maybe is somewhat aware of that. He's going to run his way out.
Still 10 seconds until this Omni Slash is available, and well, back off. So, the fact that oftentimes not seeing someone on the map is just as important as seeing someone.
So they'll just keep farming up. There's no need to rush here for Boom Esports. RR just going to stay grouped up. They do get that Orchid down that Quap, and they'll smoke up as well.
They're going to catch out Dreamer Cell here.
Scan out Kescute, so they might ignore Dreamer Cell. I don't think they even spotted him out. Now they snowball in. Kescute, the stun does barely connect, and with the Walrus Punch, Hustler does manage to secure the kill.
Do you think they're trying to take this in 20 seconds?
I believe so, yeah.
I think it's the right play. You got to do something really risky to come back, because the laning stage hasn't gone up very well for you. And with 5 heroes nearby, plus the tag team in the Infinity Aura, it's really effective. Prophet's coming in to try and make something happen.
Oh,
they found him.
You get it. He silenced up. Dakota, can you get yourself done? He tried to TP, but no. They will get the kill. Now the
BZ as well.
with the Sun Ray, they do get the left lead, but now they've got a Roar flying out as well. They are going to find Dreamer, so that's a godlike spree going away. Now Hyde also dying. What have you done?
Not just dying, but also the Supernova being used. I can understand using it on that high ground, but just waiting until your Juggernaut's dead is a little bit...
Oh no, it gets worse. FBZ dies now. Kescute has a full team life.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Got the Tusk, though.
Radiant's structures
That T1 tower,
fortified.
obviously not going to last
It would
now.
appear
You do have the
Radiant's
Morph
top
surrounding
tower
there
is
with the
under
Green
attack.
Wave. Boom Esports, they do essentially give about 3k worth of gold away.
Radiant's top tower
Back way
has
of
fallen.
the Roshan, I know it was important. I didn't know if it was that important.
I mean, it wasn't that it was that important, it's just that it baited that sort of engagement, right? Where they didn't really want to. Because Witch Doctor was still dead for, I believe, another 10 seconds when they took the start of that fight. And, it's a couple of times where I feel like Hyde's just used Supernova without anything else. And so they're able to just turn around and kill it straight away. It just gives up not only his death, but a big teamfight cooldown as well.
still maintain the top 2 net worth spots on the net worth board right now, Boom. So they've got that going for them even after that terrible fight. They have lost a bit of map control here though, and if that top lane Makoto could be in trouble, he'll TP away, but Snowball will not make it. Very, very close call there for Makoto. He would have definitely been dead. Does make it out. Boom. Now I'm going to bring FBZ and Hyde up to that top lane together, but they do get scattered up by a Hawk. This could be dangerous still, because KOXY does have that roar up.
But Dire's bottom tower is
They may
under
not play
attack.
around with Boom quite yet, like this freely.
Dire's bottom tower is
Dreamer still
under
putting some
attack.
pressure on this bottom side of the map. He backs off. He should not be considered as a threat, and then takes out the tower, so creating a bit of space, but top lane's in a little bit of trouble.
That it is.
Dire's bottom
here.
tower is under
Good
attack.
bully there from Kensuke. Through Sonic Wave will be committed, but the Sun Ray will be there to just
Radiant's
keep
top
Kensuke
tower
up.
is under
Stroke of
attack.
Fate does not land,
I don't mean to
but
be
they are going to get this
honest,
T2 tower
but
basically for
Dire's
free.
bottom tower is under
Uh,
attack. Well, it
Making
seems
it
that
happen.
Radiant's top tower has
Of course, we do see the
I
same
just noticed that
spot lane
Dire's
as Dreamer, so
bottom
he
tower
can't
is
push on the
under
Ursa
attack.
quite as quick.
One not quite effective as 4, unfortunately for him. They're getting the level 12 as well on this Phoenix, so you can't just go for a smoke without him at least grabbing that, because every hits is impactful.
That it is, and well, they'll get it now. Hyde gonna go in with that level 12, level 2 egg up. His team's already kind of walked off without him in all fairness though.
So they've spotted out this quad, but it's under the ages, so you don't really want to completely commit to it.
Oh, Drew blinked in though. That was part of the problem, is he kind of blinked in. Now they do commit to do that. Not get the nice grip stroke ultimately with the double roar out for KOX, but they're still dying. In fact, make that Drew still dying by that death ward. He will go down. Now KOXY also going down there, and Boom are not stopping the space. Well, they'll probably have to. They're already far enough, but it's 2 great pickoffs there from the side of Boom Esports.
Yeah, nice Doom coming out as well, making sure that that Juggernaut was just a non-factor in the team fight, and get that double kill onto the Queen of Pain, obviously not wanting to waste the Orchid beforehand.
Dire's structures are
It's
fortified.
easy to pick her off after.
They are
It's
looking
going into a
robust.
Linken's, which I suppose is nice to have against this Doom, but
I feel like a
it's
broken
a
record.
necessity rather than that BKB on the pop this time around.
Actually, jump in from
Dire's
FPC.
middle tower
Getting that
is
snap
hammered
again.
hard to
It won't be
point out
enough.
that Dire's middle tower
Got the
has fallen.
being snare plus the clumsy net. That is real value there. But couldn't quite kill off the Grimstroke. Still, they'll take over that die jungle once again. The net worth lead has slowly started increasing back the way of Doom Esports.
Generation.
So it's getting close to that Sanjin Yasha as well now on that Ursa.
Well, that was probably the worst possible thing that happened for Reality Rift. So let's have a look at how they can maybe get back into this game. It's not super often that you see a position 4 Tusk going second item BKB into an Aghanim Scepter. I just feel like that's way too greedy for this point of the game. I think you need to go something like a Medallion of Courage, which can potentially build into a Solar Crest, which really does enable your Juggernaut a whole lot more.
I'd have to agree with you on that. It does seem pretty greedy there from Hustler. I'm not even sure how he's going to farm that up. Not like Husk really has any kind of flash farming abilities. See what he does, I guess. Alacrity does have the Mantra up now on the Jug.
He needs his level 15 as well for that increased attack speed.
Radiant's bottom
It's
tower
not
is
close at
under
all to
attack.
picking up any new items here. Beastmaster, I can understand the BKB on, you want to be that in the middle of the team fight, even just from the right clicks and your units, but again, providing attack speed to this Juggernaut during the Omni Slash,
Radiant's
really
bottom
important.
tower has fallen.
They'll just trade those tier 2 towers,
Radiant's
so
middle
Alacrity
tower
and
is
the
under
rest will
attack.
throw on RR. They are going to go into that
Dire's
mid
top
lane
tower
now,
has fallen.
trying to get more value. Same will be done here by Makoto, however. BZ devours the creep.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
Alacrity going back in.
He pump faked it.
Nice. Alacrity, yeah, he's gonna run off now. Oh, that paralyzing cast is
Dire's top
following him
tower is
down.
under attack.
No, it could be right. I know just one bounce.
Repeat myself.
Seems as though Boom Esports are maybe just waiting out the next Roshan attempt before they really try to commit to a big team fight again.
Got it.
Alright, I'd argue probably doing the same thing.
Bounty.
This is going to be real handy on Hyde. He's picked up a Ghost Scepter for himself, so he's going to be able to play a little bit more ballsy. Still needs to watch out for the Sonic Wave, of course, but you're able to potentially tank up, for example, Omni Slash.
Bot lane, Lacry and Hustler are going to stick around here. Kodo may get picked off if he keeps going forward, but no. Just sends the treants out. Tries to scout out with those as well. Mid lane. KYXY and Nuts have to be careful. There are some heroes around there as well. SUZ back to top and drop. He'll go for the Doom onto KYXY. Inksaw is going to be there to try and help out with the Soul Bind, but he is burning up so quick to that Sun Ray damage. They will find both.
Couple of ultimates used, but well worth it to be able to make that kind of rotation. Makoto, of course, TPing back using a scroll town portal, push the wave out, and always just immediately join your team afterwards.
They're going for a team for example. Dragon Skull there on Green Sword trying to help out a lot. The Shards are there from Hustler to try and lock it in, which it has, but you can always just leap over it. However, down at the bot lane, they're trying to force them back by doing the same thing. Orchid is down Hustler. He has Magic though. He can turn up the path now with the Omni Slash. It's a fair bit of damage, but it's bouncing way too much. Alacrity trying to spin TP. It's not going to be enough for Kodo. He has enough damage to kill him off, and now are we going after Drew?
The net.
Oh, FBZ, he forgot.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mid lane, however,
courier has been
does die to Dreamer Soul, and Drew will lose his courier at the same time. Maybe if they'd gotten that net though on the Queen of Pain, you never know where that could have led for Boom.
Spawning only in 1 minute would have allowed you to take back, well, actually, they already have control, honestly, over the dire side of the map. So I think for now they're going to be happy farming up a few of these tier 3 neutral items. Man, this Spider Legs is handy for just able to move around at any time within these team fights.
Oh,
Big down Drew.
Drew is going to be able to blink away in time. KYXY has the ball, but he's just not feeling confident to go in on that Ursa right now. We'll just keep controlling up this mid wave. The rest of his team is also just freely farming their own jungle. Like, they've just got control of the whole map, and now Makoto blinks or teleports in, takes down Nuts.
Warriors of the wood.
I mean, he's a right-clicking beast right now. Does he have the completed AC? Yep, there we go. So even more damage being taken right now from the side of Reality Rift. Goes for a similar type of Omni Slash play in the middle of 3 heroes. You're not going to take all that much damage. Plus 5 armor is damn handy to have.
Back to that Roshan now. They're going to be able to... Oh, they're going to have so much damage anyway. They don't even need the tree. Screen something in there. And, well, Alacrity and the rest aren't going to be ready to try and counter this Roshan play. They are making their way down, but he's going to be way too late. Now, you definitely don't want to fight either, as Dreamer Sword does have the Aegis plus a double damage, so they start rushing forward. RR just trying to avoid, but FBZ.
Stroke's not there. Be a 5v4 fight if they took it at this point. I'm liking Hustler's positioning though. He wants to break any sort of smoke initiation that they have.
Still, Dreamer Sword looks to just go up to the high ground again. With that Aegis, he feels confident enough, and he is very far ahead of his net worth. However, from the backside, Alacrity does come in, but does get doomed through the spin.
Killing
They're going to rush for him. Dreamer Sword does kill off much of the Dream Circuit. Now the Kodo. They'll buy back. Roar is there. It may not help, but now the Snowball will.
Nice turnaround.
With the Sonic Wave, it's not going to be enough though. They still lose that jump. They'll also lose the Queen of Pain. FBZ's trying to chase up Hustler, who doesn't have the Snowball to save. Maybe he gets a Shards block. Maybe he just runs away. Looks like it will be the latter. He will run. But I can't really say the same for the base. The base can't run away. Well, Boom Esports may just go back into that mid wave again.
Oh, I don't make this sort of play nuts. It's really keen. Just gonna get
Back.
reshot, basically. He should just live, but not for long.
That's a dieback onto Nuts, and now the ensnare is out with the clumsy net onto KYXY. There'll be no follow-up. KYXY, he's just gonna put the repair kits down, but how do you save this mid-round?
With another charge of it.
Dire's middle barracks are under
That's
attack.
two gone. He only has one left.
This is
It really just
state
didn't matter for the mid-round.
significant.
In
That
fact,
seems
Remus
like it
thinks it
might
doesn't
be
matter for the
Dire's
top
top tower is
3
under
either.
attack. Must I
Goes
repeat
back to
myself?
Necromonicon units and they keep going. The answer is yes, they know they have the dieback on Nuts.
Scoot doesn't even care, he's just walking around grabbing some
In a
bounties on
stroke
the
of
top side
cunning
of the
or
map.
perhaps of desperation, Dire's
They'll start through themselves away the through, but be careful to get bashed there by the Ursa now. KYXY, silence is down on the two. They can get the roar off with the roar in top, and now the egg in the back line. They have melted so dark quick to Makoto. He got a death so well, so Hustle's gonna die along with the Beastmaster. Is my back alacrity? That wasn't it.
Mega kill.
And he's gonna die as well. No buyback on the job.
in a stunning development. Dire's top tower
Did
has
he?
I'd say that's call it level, I would say.
Right. Orchid out on Drew. He will survive through it.
Dire's top
But that top rack is gone. And on the blind side, you still have a bottom tier 2 tower unless Boom want to go for tier 4s.
You can tell that they're wanting to be really aggressive. Kezcute was holding on to a tome for a long time, most likely to give it to the Phoenix, but didn't even need it in that team fight. Or sorry, did probably. It would have made him survive against the Juggernaut before it dropped, but was wanting to give it to the Ursa as well, get him up to his level 25, just opting to pop himself though, and I can completely understand why that extra, I'd assume Maledict AoE is going to be really effective. There we go.
Will be. Not that he like needs it at this point though. Like the 23k ahead. The added bonus.
On grey wood.
Gotta put that on 4 heroes on the side of Aran. This drop.
It's really this Juggernaut. Like, the fact that it still does damage if you get the initial cut off before the spin, it's game breaking.
That really is. Like, it's kind of a broken mechanic in the game. Just gets nothing these days. Constant nerfs is all he gets.
Dreamer still's leading the way, he's already level 25. Oh, so much.
Yeah, but it's still necessary. They're gonna kill off the Labyrinth as well with the Invincible Blade, and now they're gonna clear out through. KYXY is also gone. He BKB would have been nothing. And they'll just call it. They've had enough.
Yeah. Once that happens, you know, your Juggernaut just looks like paper.
Dire's bottom
It's never a good sign, and with that, Boom have won the one game that they needed, so upper bracket's secured. They've still got a second game to play, of course, but they can relax a little bit. You know, they know that what they've been fighting so hard for during this group stage is not at risk anymore.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. On we'll go, finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
For game number 2 between Boom Esports and Reality Rift, this is MLP Donor and of course the lovely Danog. Danog, welcome back, sir. A very quick and dominant game number 1, I'd have to say, by the side of Boom Esports, and I love to ask you these questions. What are RR doing wrong? What happened?
I think they just got out
5 seconds
drafted.
remaining.
The laning stage, Boom were allowed to set up their lanes exactly how they wanted to. There were a couple of team fights that really just didn't go RR's way. It felt like they were constantly getting picked off, and the space the KOA Expire was able to make by farming on the unsafe side of the map, dead lane, if you was a little bit rough. The fact that they weren't able to capitalize on it, and you mentioned it was like a fast, hectic game coming through, but we're seeing them wanting the opposite from that this time around. No Beastmaster, no Prophet, no Lone Druid. They're like, get away from our towers.
I don't blame them, especially with that Prophet. Like, we were talking a lot about Dreamers, how he was, at one stage he was 10-0. That was at the 15-minute mark. But the Prophet from Makoto, making a lot of work happen across the map. You never felt safe. Poor Nuts on the Grimstroke, he just died over and over again to that Prophet, and I can't quite blame them for just removing those kind of heroes. Now the Phoenix, followed by the Batrider being banned out. But this does leave the Pop, it leaves the Ember, it leaves the DK, it just leaves so many popular picks that either side could go for.
And I think maybe a bit of that blame needs to be put onto Nuts. It's something that I've definitely done in my matches before, but if you see a Prophet even begin to build into a Orchid, continue building towards an Ectolens like he did, because you're just going to be food for him every single time. You need to go for a 4-staff immediately, or you need to go for a Glimmer Cape. Something that's going to enable you to get away, or at the very least, force him to buy detection for you, so that he's not getting as great a trade from that and able to snowball off of that.
No, I totally agree with that. I didn't really realize it was the he had gone for that 8th lens in the game itself. But yeah, your 4-star Glimmer Cape would have definitely been the better option. Boom Esports, they do start off their draft. They go for the Witch Doctor.
10 seconds remaining.
SQ was doing a great old job on this support Witch Doctor. I can't quite blame them for going ahead and picking that back up. More importantly, though, what RR going for with opening line?
If they want to slow things down, they got to go the Treant, right? Like,
Right.
tower taking potential does Boom have now? I mean, I guess the Lycans made it through, but Doctor, yeah. I don't mind seeing the tree there if it is something that they're comfortable with playing.
Radiant
I
team.
mean, we have seen KYX might play a lot of off-lane tree, but
That is an early Troll Warlord coming out.
tell me about it. That's what I was going to say. It's I wonder why. That misclick? What's
They
happening?
had plenty
Dire
of time.
team pick.
Earth Shaker.
Okay, Troll Earthshaker, so that maybe they're just trying to bait Boom Esports into drafting something in particular. I doubt the Troll would have been banned had they just left it later.
Yeah, Shaker's totally fine. I just don't know why you don't roll in next
10
phase.
seconds
I guess
remaining.
wanting to not give up all of their supports is the
5
thing now, but
seconds
then why not
remaining.
pick something versatile, you know, that you're able to play in both core and support roles, like the Queen of Pain, for example. It's still in the pool, viable. Guess Husk doesn't really play things in the nature of, like, the Spirit 4. That's definitely an option.
Boom. They're going to have a long think about this one now. Seeing that first pick Troll obviously has maybe confused them a little bit as well.
Dire team banned.
They'll go down all the way to 30 seconds of reserve time, but they go into the Brewmaster. So you've already got that counter towards that Troll in these big team fights already. I mean, the Earthshaker's going to have a fairly hard time up against that Brew, and it's not a hero we see all too often, but it is still a very viable hero nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it might force them. We see an Oracle
10
band
seconds
coming out
remaining.
here, is what I want to see. You need to be
5
able to get
seconds
rid of that
remaining.
wind just lifting the Troll Warlord into the air, right? Or maybe something like
Radiant team
Venge
ban.
to be quite useful. Get on Reality Rift side.
Could be. They are going to ban up the Chen for Boom Esports, so they're not really worried about that Oracle Troll combo, or the Venge for that matter. RR now, maybe have a think about this one, see what could possibly come out of Boom this time around. You did bring up the fact that the
10
Lycan was
seconds
still
remaining.
available. Thank you for that, Renaud.
5
You did
seconds
bring up
remaining.
you bring up the point that the Lycan was available, so if RR don't want to pick that up, they may as well just roll it now.
My games every single time. You just never want to play up against it, really. It feels obnoxious to play against. It's really strong in lane. The regen's nuts, and that's not even to mention the armor reduction that you're able to. If it's going to get you something to be able to snowball even further and take an aggressive stance in these team fights, which is what a Brewmaster really allows you to do.
Absolutely. They are really just letting that reserve time tick out, having a think about this final ban RR. It's kind of a matter of what they really what
Radiant
are the
team
options that they're
pick.
thinking about. The Razor, okay. Haven't seen that once during the BTS Pro Series 2, but I guess it could have worked up against the Troll quite nicely.
I think it's been underpicked, to be honest. Like, you see things like the Troll Warlord coming out. He's very predictable about where he's going to be moving, so wanting to
10
take full
seconds
advantage.
remaining.
Sorry, to exploit that rather than advantage of that.
5 seconds remaining.
So I guess it's just going to be
Dire
like
team pick.
a hero draft around this this Troll Warlord. just wanting to secure as much of his game as possible. They're just going to buff everything into him, make him that real late game core. So then you have to think, right, well, what is going to enable him to get to that point? What are we lacking right now? Stuns, they've push, they've got magic damage, they've got teamfight, they've got catch.
Remaining.
So I'm loving Reality Rift's draft so far, but
5
what
seconds
else could
remaining.
they potentially use to exploit this troll
Radiant team, pick.
like as being available? Cool. Probably fine. You know, be able to get rid of some of these stuns that might be coming out. If you're able to get rid of the track as well, just with your purge, fine.
I think the Oracle is just the obvious choice. So
10
really
seconds
does seem
remaining.
like that Fortune's End, especially up against that bounty hunter track, is going to be very useful.
5 seconds remaining.
And you're even able to, I know it's a little bit of an odd play, but you're able to get some initiation combinations going through as well, right? You save your purge for these defensive maneuvers, like getting rid of obviously the track, getting rid of the wind panda tossing you up in the air. But if you want to play more offensively, which seems like the style they want to go with this Bane, out of the situation now, but you can just cast it on the Queen of Pain, charge it up, blink in, you get that initial route in place, and then you're able to just dominate the rest of the team fight because you know they're not going to move, or you bait out BKBs and the like.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly
10
what's happening
seconds
now, though.
remaining.
The Bane is out for RR. Curious pick,
5
to say the
seconds
least. I wasn't
remaining.
quite expecting the Bane
Radiant
to be
team
picked up here, but I suppose that the catch... Uh-oh. That's, Alright, that's a Visage. It's, that's a very, very dangerous hero to have to play up against. Now, we talked about push. They do still have the Lycan as well, just in case they need it, but that Visage does scare me.
It does, but they haven't played it at all
10
on this
seconds
patch,
remaining.
so maybe in theory
5
it
seconds
works for them.
remaining.
And sure, like the Bane and the Shaker aren't the best supports to try and deal with it. No forms of natural escape. You can just chase them down really easily, and there's not all too much that they can do. I don't mind it. I mean, I can understand the Bane pick, right? On Reality Rift side, it goes back to what I was saying about the hero making draft, and Bane is another one of those really strong laners, similar to the Enchantress, that just enables you to go into a much greedy style of build. So it makes sense in that way. I guess you can also lock down the Brewmaster quite easily without him getting off the brew split. Always very important.
10
They were
seconds
lacking
remaining.
the full 100 to 0 stun.
5 seconds remaining.
Mind the Bane, but they've definitely left themselves open to being counter.
Dire
so early.
team, pick.
That they have, and Boom actually ban out the Lycan themselves now. RR ban out an Alacrity special. Boom Esports ban out the Lycan, which I thought might fit in their draft, but they don't care for it. And I'm curious to see how they finish this draft off. Not too much time left in the reserve bank for themselves, but
10
they'll
seconds
have
remaining.
enough.
Yeah. No, like it.
5 seconds
It's,
remaining.
Disappointing.
I guess obviously.
Yeah.
Well, is it disappointing? Get it out. I don't want it anywhere near me.
15 seconds. What are we thinking? What's the last pick? What are you going to round off with this Visage Brewmaster core combo?
Slark.
Radiant team, pick.
Bloodseeker.
Oh. Okay. Bloodseeker pops out for the second time today. Do you know why this has come out? I don't see it. Apart from that, maybe that troll. I guess the Quap, right? Like she can't blink away.
It could be the Quap, like you were about to say. I think the Troll as well, right? He pops Battle Trance on anywhere that isn't 1
10
HP.
seconds remaining.
Just run. You know, he'll kill himself.
5 seconds
One way to deal
remaining.
with him. We've never seen the Bloodseeker versus Troll throughout the Pro Series. I don't know what to expect here, but I look forward to it. RR now, seeing that last pick from Boom Esports, need one final pick up for themselves, and they are still lacking some kind of offlane, I believe, for KYXY. Unless it's going to be, you know, some kind of offlane quap, which is somewhat doubtful. They could still go into that offlane tree and protector, which we do see a lot from KYXY, but I don't even know if it's going to hold up against the Visage. They actually go
Choose
for
your
the
hero,
Ember Spirit.
my good friend.
Okay. I think it's alright. Want to be as slippery as possible. Alacrity is going to be playing it. So KYXY Queen. I mean, it's alright. You know, you want to be able to keep this Bloodseeker as low. Constant harass coming out there. I'm most interested in this mid lane. That's what I want to keep my eyes on.
The Makoto versus Alacrity matchup on the Ember versus Visage.
Because it gets to the point, right, where as soon as that level 6 come up for Makoto, you really just can't stay in lane as Alacrity. Luckily, you do have the capabilities to rotate through the jungle, provided that it's been stacked up a little bit for you and farm in that way. But I think at that point of the game, Hyde's going to be called upon to start to just sit next to him, even just in invis, and soak up half of that experience, maybe go for those cheeky last hits on the creeps, yoink a bit of his gold, and just be a pest, really.
Yeah, be a bit of fun here. See how it all pans out. RR versus Boom Esports. RR just look to try and get a draw if they can, and Boom Esports, I guess they don't mind either way to that upper strong if you are Boom.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's totally good. The way that they've gone about it, and honestly, even if Boom were wanting to try something a little different, a little bit of an experiment, you would say if they're like, they haven't won anything significantly, Boom, so I'm just going to call them a tier 2 C team. If you call Reality Rift like a tier 3 team, these are the things to maybe try and experiment things on, right? Just so that you can experience it in a real competitive setting as opposed to just a scrim.
That's fair enough. I mean, you are going to go into those playoffs very soon anyway, so there's never a better time than now. I guess other teams will probably closely be watching what they're up to here on the side of Boom Esports with this Visage pickup, but I personally believe this hero is kind of overpowered, that Visage, but I don't... It seems like if it's not played right, or the certain things don't happen in the game, it just never takes off anyway. It reminds me a lot of a Chen, where you just build up this army, and by that 15, maybe 20 minute mark, you're just kind of unstoppable with it. Nuts. Bot lane. Be probably blocked up here from Hyde. They don't have anything like an Orb Venom. Hyde or Nuts will just go ahead and take a brain tap for himself to shout a bit more harassed towards that guy, and that Kensuke showed up as well.
Are those
He'll be alright.
little people down there? Wonderful what they can do these days.
Drew's just gonna hide in the tree line, meanwhile, just not going anywhere near the side of Boom Esports at the moment.
Be another tri lane. Hyde's making his way up towards top, but I like the fact that you can have Kescute here laning with FBZ for a check. You've got a 200 attack rate advantage right, Witch Doctor Bane, who obviously is able to trade really well with you, provided he gets that brain sap off, but you're just able to juke and jive him out a little bit, then she can do.
That is very true. He plays this out. In fact, they are going to bring Hyde back down bot. He just ran up top to try and get a bounty rune, and he did successfully get it, which did mean a 3-to-1 trade for Boom Esports. But he's going to return back down bot. Nuts.
That movement slow as well. If he beats him out here, oh, this is going to be bad for Nuts.
Mask hasn't been used yet, they're waiting. Now they do, with the slam out from FBZ, and this should be his first blood. He's going to try and juke his way out of this situation. Hyde will continue the chase. I suppose both supports can just slowly finish this this kill off. They basically need one, maybe two more, and Nuts will... He almost found a courier. Doesn't quite get there. Still kills himself up to that tier 1. guess in some way you denied the first blood gold away from Boom Esports, so it's not all bad that your Bane just died like that.
They share the love around.
Yeah, absolutely. Lane is the one you said you wanted to keep an eye on closely. Makoto up against Alacrity on that Ember. Thus far has really favoured Alacrity as he's going to have that melee range advantage where he can just secure CS much easier. Is there a particular way you think Alacrity needs to play this lane, or just farm?
Just farm is totally fine. You know, you're never going to be able to, against some heroes, use that sleight of fist to make sure you're securing range creeps, that you're harassing the enemy. But
been slain.
Got that damage reduction against the Gravekeeper's Cloak. There's not about it. You're not going to do that much harass.
Real problem. Gonna nullify that, but continuing to CS. Of course, bot lane, we did see Hyde actually get the courier of Drew, which did have some regen on there. So, a bit unfortunate for poor old Drew. He'll have to wait another minute for that to come out. And up that top lane, Dreamercell and Kescute are there together on the Bloodseeker Witch Doctor combo. You've got KYXY on that off-lane Queen of Pain that has been very popular as of late. He's been doing a pretty decent job of dealing with Dreamercell, but now the cast comes in. He does have the level 1 blink anyway, so he should be just fine here.
Radiant's
Dreamercell gets that bonus speed for himself.
Just getting dived a little bit underneath the tower, forcing out the salve from him, and now he's had the bottle delivered. Fine, just the 1 point leveled up in the Sleight of Fist is good to gradually get those great charges up. So damn quick.
Problem with that Visage, like how fast can you get these lasers back up?
Dire's courier
It's pretty
has
quick.
been slain.
6 seconds, just with 1 point. And when you're considering the fact that Sleight of Fist has an 18-second cooldown, what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah. They are going to try and dive him now in mid lane. Playing guard, it won't be quite enough. Hyde is around the corner. I guess they are still applying pressure onto Makoto, which isn't all bad. In fact, he's not really able to secure CS underneath that T1. Well, not that well anyway. He was trying to use Soul Assumption before, but the attack flow is just... Attack speed is so slow though. Top lane, Hustler, Fisher out. He's going to be chased down now by Dreamercell. Dreamercell kind of slow right now. Not really that quick, and we'll turn around to KYXY instead. Get a bit more harass out onto that quap. Hustler.
Dire's top tower is being attacked like nobody's business.
Using choice. I mean, he had an entire creep wave just underneath the tier 1 tower, so he's already missed out on 2 of these last hits.
Lane though, Makoto does end up going down. Alacrity does secure the kill. Nuts was there to help him out with the Nightmare setup, and they got it.
Yeah, I mean, doing exactly what he has to, right? Like we were saying before, it's that level 6 does come up on the Visage. There's you can lane, so the fact if you can get 1 or 2 kills early on gives you a chance.
You're able to take down the Gravekeeper's cloak in the Nightmare, right? Like if Bane just sits there and auto attacks through the Nightmare, it does remove it. One way to do it, I guess, without the burst, though, of course.
Yeah.
Kescute, top lane, throw it out. He's in big danger, but Hustler. He does get denied. Very nice by Hyde, and now he'll just chase down Hustler. So annoy this Earthshaker.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Tips
being
are coming out to
subjected to
nuts there from
extreme
Makoto,
violence.
I was slightly faster, but those Tranquil Boots coming out just in.
Radiant's courier has been slain. Let us
Hustle's
hope it
courier
left
going
no
down.
little ones behind.
Hyde, I believe it's his 3rd courier of the game thus far. He's got it on that bounty. So he's been quite a nuisance in that way. But now, top lane, Dreamercell going to get Fisher blocked up. Carson's going to fly through there from Kescute with the Melodic. It's a lot of damage on Hustler. The Blood Right will not connect, and Hustler should just be fine to regen himself up with those Tranquils.
Tranquils, he's popping. So he's safe to sit out here. Just play a bit more of a defensive role against this sort of thing. We go level 6. Hyde makes his move back towards, sneaks off and grabs that haste rune before bottle it.
Very nice. to that point where Makoto probably just wants to try and catch up in that CS now that he actually can.
You are too slow.
Lachrity, we talked about it, he can't do much about these familiars right now. He'll just kind of have to bide his time. But it's not what you want, right? Like letting Makoto just farm freely in this mid lane and then maybe rotating to the jungle. Definitely not what you really want to do. Never mind that bot lane, Drew. He's chasing. I think that tier 1 with the Battle Trance. He has no control over his body, and Hyde now is going to try and follow up there with the Brewmaster. Drew should be okay though. He does walk out of there.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, that's Battle Trance used in only a drunken exchange, so happy with that right now. If you're a FBZ, you know that you're not at risk of dying.
That you are. Not to have to be a little bit careful here as Hyde is still around the corner, but they seem to want that troll. Does not going to be there. FBZ now with the stop and does use the primal split to try and secure the kill without Battle Trance. It should be fairly easy. In fact, he does tornado up Nuts now. Nuts, I don't believe he has a way out either. He'll just brain sap and try to run, gets the Nightmare off, but that should be able to be dispelled, and he is. And with that, Nuts should surely just die here. Dream of Soul and Hyde, he will give it away to his carry.
Ever been cause for celebration?
Yeah,
Dyer's
I
top
mean,
tower is being attacked
I feel like Alacrity
nobody's
could
business.
should potentially be getting a lot more done than he is. Like, of course, you have to leave the lane right now as soon as the Visage hit that 6, and he has. They tossed the Earthshaker there to get a little bit of experience. So. Nicely done for Hustler, but he made that rotation towards top, and right now he's sharing this net worth and experience with KYXY, which is not what you want. It's not efficient play.
Radiant's
He did not getting Dream of Soul there. He's trapped up. He is surrounded by 4 heroes and really should have no way out of this. He will go down. Drew, he got ruptured, but he won't mind that. He just stands there and just keeps farming creeps. However, where is this Visage gone? So, looks like he's just trying to secure that Helm of the Dominator. And that's the timing, right? Once you have that Helm of the Doma, is when you can actually start doing things on this hero.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be around a similar sort of time. Have the Lads available to himself. I think he's getting Bassi Ring and the Buckler about to him right now. About that aura gaming.
Mid lane though, he's going to be forced in. They're going to try and get a defense coming out here from Boom. It's a very, very slow push though, I've got to say. They just don't have the lineup for this. Alacrity going to try and go after the Visage, on top of him. Maybe they get him, no. Controlled up with the cast flying out, Alacrity and the Melodic on top. He's going to keep going after Kensku. But do they have enough to actually kill this Witch Doctor? He's just sustaining with the heal. Now Alacrity still trying to run away. It's too much damage coming in. He does dodge out the Melodic tick though. With that Sleight of Fist, but now the Rupture is there for Dream himself. Going back onto the Ember. He'll remember back towards Makoto. Nuts does die, now Alacrity does as well. Tips flying out. Possibly the only one left there on the Earthshaker. And slowly but surely, they're going to make their way up onto it.
I don't mean to be alarmist,
but he does get out.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
He'll be fine, and well, he might this capture onto the outpost. You've got defensive TP coming here from the Bane. So presence of mind coming there from Nuts and be able to interrupt Hyde here.
Yeah, can they get the outpost back? With 2 heroes maybe, but Drew is going to take down Kensku. They want it so desperately. That was a big play coming out from that Earthshaker, just securing that outpost XP. And yeah, the way the game was going, RR shouldn't really have been able to do that. With the condition of their team being 2 members down, but they make it work.
Yeah. There is that Helm of the Dominator finished up now by Makoto. He goes searching for a creep, hasn't found one just yet. Wild Ring Whipper is not really the most ideal one to grab up at this point.
Maybe a bit of bonus armor, it's not all too bad.
Really as a Visage, I suppose.
Yeah, more armor, why not? I believe the familiars also get the armor. Does tank them up a bit more.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
Nuts
Must
Bot
I
lane
repeat
on the
myself?
Bane. Going to be spotted out now by those familiars, and Hyde will just turn around, back onto that Bane. He's master for the tomb, but there's really no way for this Bane to survive his onslaught, so he will die. They already got the T1 top tower though for RR, so I think they're okay with this trade. Yeah, they are going to make Jetscue, just channeling the Death Ward, but it is cancelled off, and now the Primal split.
A lot of damage.
Chase down. Alacrity, can he get out? No, he has no remnants, he will die. FBZ, Tornado, connecting there on that Queen of Pain.
Track available as well.
Be able to blink out though. The track is there now behind, you are correct. And who's just around the corner?
Dire's top tower is being attacked
Stay
like
high, taking
nobody's
the
business.
outposts.
Radiant's bottom
Back
tower
off the
is
same.
under attack. Has that ever been cause for celebration?
It feels like obviously they're losing out on the bottom side of the map, getting dived. Now the bounty hunter's got the crack, which isn't great, obviously, but the net worth Drew is about net worth ahead of his next closest competitor. So being put into that hero role and doing not too bad of a job at it.
No, I do agree. Drew is really farming quite nicely. He's very close to that Battle Fury and does get a double damage on top of that. So perhaps now this mid push can really happen. Because he does have the Battle Cries up. If Archie can't shoot, he's already healing himself up. But that T1 tower is not going to be safe whatsoever.
Middle tower amount of stress.
Great take from them.
As any fool can
Bot
see.
lane, Hustler, being chased down by Makoto. But it's no good. He can't kill off the Earthshaker. Now can't wait. One's going to take the Earthshaker's place in that bot lane. In fact, there is a wraparound. Nuts is there with Fiend's Grip. Looks like Makoto's going to be safe anyway. He'll be fine.
See him now. They've got the vision coming through here.
Nuts may not have been the greatest time to go for that outpost. He does go for the knife on that soul assault. They will be hard getting jumped on there from Alacrity as well. Nuts will die for the Shuriken toss, but now the side wave will secure Hyde. And they keep fighting Alacrity. He's trapped up. He gets ruptured. He's been stunned, but he does get the remnants. But oh, he remnants back. Oh no. Now Hustler also going to die on the Earthshaker. It's a bit of a misclick there from Alacrity. That shouldn't have happened.
It's a bit of a yikes. I mean, it allows you to create space for this troll, but it shouldn't come at that big of a cost, you know. It's not the worst situation if your Bane dies, but the Bane used the Fiend's Grip just before the death and were able to deal with it just with the Shuriken, like you mentioned. And then, yeah, just that extra remnant caused it to fall down instead of getting away very simply with a couple of supports dying. It's quite good enough.
Radiant's middle tower
it
has
is not.
fallen.
I mean, they can bank on Drew all they like, but like you said, there's no necessity to go that far and lose that much.
You can give him a good game, but if 3 other people have a good game on the other team at that expense, it's like, quite worth it.
That's quite literally what's happening as well. Like, the other 3 cores on Boom Esports right now are having a good game. They are just behind the network of Drew. Hyde, he's going to take an arcane away from Team XY, but he was ready with the dust, so Hyde may have just thrown his life away from the arcane. Makoto, however, does kill off Nuts. He has support for a support trade.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, with the Bane, sure you can make yourself live for 2 seconds just with the Nightmare, but beyond that, you've got no form of escape, so just continuing to chase him down. Same thing with the Earthshaker.
Drew right now is being chased down. He'll be alright, he'll walk away. Makoto doesn't really have the lockdown right now on that Visage. Not just by himself. Is there a point, do you think, where the Visage just kind of drops off as a hero? Like, if you just don't let him do a certain thing at a certain time, he's just kind of non-existent?
You absolutely need to snowball with him, and I think that's why he's dedicating his time to somewhat paying attention to Drew. You know, you could see he wanted to make sure he wasn't farming on the dire side of the map, take a bit more of that safer farm and choke off the areas where the rest of Drew's team can get some network. Because at the same time, you do have your Brewmaster and your Bloodseeker also doing the same thing. So if you're giving up one core to stop the other core and preventing all of their other cores from preventing it, I know this is sounding like vomit, but it's just a favorable trade, basically, to give up your mid laner for the enemy team if this is the way that you're going for.
Yeah. Yes, why not? Mid lane, Hyde almost goes down to Alacrity. He doesn't quite get enough damage off.
You can see Nazis running for dear life, but it won't do anything, but...
Nah, there's not even bouncing back up through the neutrals. The Makoto will take another kill. That's 5 to 1 for him on that Visage. Still not really at that point where he wants to be. And
Radiant's bottom tower is being subjected to extreme violence.
So things are still playing decently enough for RR in that sense. So Alacrity flying through Hydra. Now Hustler is taking a lot of damage from that depth. He's trying TP, but they'll have to stop from Makoto. They can't stop Alacrity from getting out. Maybe KYXY. He gets stunned up, the block is coming in, and it's not even going to be necessary.
And they're right next to Roche as well.
Yeah. Visage. Just go for that E-Coach play. It seems as though RR, they may try and make their way down here, but I don't even know if they're aware of this. Like, FBZ may have made it very obvious now, but you haven't got remnants anyway, and that's what this is going to be a cooldown, so you can't be abused that either.
Stunned up next to this neutral wave. Has no mana. Alacrity.
No mana, no remnants, nothing. He's just going to die here on that Ember, and well, Kesku just keeps giving the tips nuts. What does he do?
Monster kill.
Nothing. Just nothing.
Absolute.
With these trap kills, it's just so much gold. They got a 1.3k gold swing out of that. The side of Boom Esports, and they now have a 3k net worth lead.
Is under attack.
And they look to go to that mid lane. They're not even showing the Visage yet. 3% just pushing in that mid tier 2 tower.
It almost feels like this Ember Spirit's actually had negative net worth differential in the past 5 or so minutes, just because deaths have kept on coming. This is a slightly better rotation. They're able to get Drew out. Slur has Blink Dagger now, so he might be able to make a few plays. Just down the Boom side, so he's doing okay.
Definitely is. It was a decently timed blink that came out as well. See when we can see that big blink echo from Hustle later on. He's gonna go ahead and skip the creep wave now. Does make it known that he is around the area. Dream itself gonna have a look for it. Meanwhile, mid lane, Hyde's already trying to set up again onto Alacrity. He should be able to get out just fine this time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
While that's happening, RR just pushing the top lane. So, in theory, this should force Boom Esports back. Or they may just want to try and trade the box here too,
like nobody's
it's just
business.
Hustler on this Earthshaker being so annoying by skipping that creep wave, they can't go for the trade. Now, top lane, Beam Strip on Kesku. They do find the Witch Doctor kill. Nuts just wanted to tip him back. I guess they might went for the Beam Strip. And now Hyde.
I could have predicted
Get Nightmare up. Do they even bother? Not quite. They'll ignore it. FBZ's coming in with the Primal Split now, trying to go onto Drew and find KYXY, but he's TP'd out. It is just Drew alone. He's raised by him. He's controlled by himself. He does get the Battle Trance, but immediately he will be tornadoed through it. And they'll just wait.
Killing spree.
There we go. FBZ will take it.
Oh, that's perfect setup for the bounty as well. You're able to just set it up, the second down, and it's like, ooh, some free battle points coming my way.
With that, I mean, it's still a very even game, but you're just losing that +1 troll like that. I guess it's given space now for Alacrity to get that assault cure.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So you've got some more defensive capabilities now this Ember and the rest of the team.
Looking so fortified.
Whether it's
Do you ever really want to go a Crimson Cut as an Ember Spirit though?
No, you don't. I tried to twist it to be a positive, but I'm not sure if it really is.
It would appear
I guess that because
Radiant's
the
top
Visage, you
tower
kind
is
of
under
need
attack.
it.
Sorry, I just
But-
noticed that Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
On the Ember.
Radiant's top
Yeah,
tower
if you
has
get the
fallen.
T1 tower.
Surely
Dire's
that's
not
top tower
pressuring that
is under
top tier
attack.
2 tower. RR doing the exact same thing, just taking that bottom T1.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
T2 in time? I don't think
Radiant's
so.
structures are
They will rip up their own
fortified.
T2.
Dire's structures are fortified.
wanting to keep these creeps up here. I don't think they'll survive long enough. They've got enough damage just to be able to deal with it. Hellbear Smash and tanking it up for them. I might think that they lose their tier 2 as well, unless they want to make it the rotation back, although Hustler positioned himself inside these trees so that he can maybe get the turnaround potential.
They've already left though, like, it's just Hustler and Drew there now, like, unless the Echo Slam is crazy big,
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
May as well make his way out now.
Unless DJ has sprinted to their PCs and is now sitting behind the desk.
That is true. So, Rob's not going to be there on Alacrity, just trying to force him out, and Alacrity will just TP. The classic
I don't mean to be
Bloodseeker counter.
alarmist, but Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They are still posturing very deep on the Radiant side here, Boomies.
Sorry,
they want
I
to
just
keep
noticed
going
that
after
Dire's
those
bottom
big
tower
towers. In
is
fact,
under
Alacrity, Remnant's back in, but they were ready for it. He will turn around, trying to after Kescute. There's the Death Ward. He'll pop the Crimson Guard and now just try to run and will successfully get away. But now he's the target they want on that Bane. But he's come through with that Battle Fury. Still, the Bane does die. Now the Finch not blinking in for that Echo yet. They do secure the high kill. Here comes the photo as well. The Bloodbright going to catch out that Queen of Pain. They do secure KOXY. Where is this Echo Slam? Hustler is still waiting. They're going down. Echo is only really on one hero though, but maybe if you kill off Makoto it's worthwhile, and they do. Art's gonna fly away. Dream Cell trying to hide in the tree line, but he is caught out and he will pay for his sins. He will die.
He just lost his Aegis, so making the right decision to make that rotation at that time on Reality Rift and getting the better part of it. Flame Guard doing a lot of work to negate the Maledict's damage coming through from this Witch Doctor, and even the Crimson Guard doing a little bit, obviously not blocking the Death Ward, but still
attack
for the rest of the team. And it just felt like the Visage perhaps showed up a little bit too late to the team fight, you know? It's got a lot of damage going out like that. You want to be able to get off those soul assumptions every 4 seconds, as well as having, of course, your Pipe Aura, your Aura, your Helm of the Dominator Aura coming out for your team. It doesn't really work if you're playing this solo game at this point.
You get the feeling that, hold that thought, Hustler's being chased right now by Hyde and Familiars. Courier? Hyde will ignore the Courier, just keeps going after the Earthshaker, but now Drew's going to try and fight back there with Nuts. They should be able to get the Bounty Hunter, but not at the cost of Drew. So popping BKB goes after Kescute. That is a lot of village damage that just came out of Drew. And it is close to BKB. He gets ruptured, TP's out, but dies in the fountain. Oh, that was not worth the trade. Now Dreamer Cell gonna go after Nuts. Nuts knows how this one works.
Witch Doctor OP.
That he is. Well, they get the kill onto that support Bane as well. And I was just about to ask you whether the timing of Boom Esports is coming to an end now with this facade. I suppose the answer is no.
It's no if you fight with the team. You do need to enable the heroes that you've created space for, trying to lock down this troll wall. And to his credit on Drew, he's been able to get a couple of kills. He finished up his Battle Fury and now he's trying to fight, but I feel like he still really needs that Skull Basher to be that presence. It just feels like it's being a little lack.
Absolutely. No. Hustler can be there to try and defend that that bot tier 2 by himself. Makoto will back off anyway. Top lane is also being forced in by KYXY.
Just standing off to the side.
Melody gonna be there with the Shuriken toss, and now the Death Ward. Was that enough?
I think he should live.
He's about to pop.
Absolutely. Mid lane though. Another fight breaking out. The Bane, Nuts, of course, will be targeted first. It should go down, but he does get the Nightmare over the Massage. Problem is, the units are still there. Alacrity just going to TP up, but I can't say the same for Hustler. At least he is able to blink away. But now another Tornado catching out Drew. He does have BKB and Battle Trance up. And Alacrity is back in with the Makoto. He's been stunned up. Makoto's going to be careful. Drew trying to make his way further closer. Bloodbite is there, but they don't really capitalize on it.
Just watch Hustler's positioning here.
Oh, Echo is there from Hustler. It's a good setup with the Sonic Wave. And Dreamer Cell is going to make a run for it. No one snares coming up to Drew. but he should be dead as KYXY will slow him up. Hyde, well, he's still been dusted, he is in trouble, but they want the big kill first. The
Double
familiars
kill.
are delaying things, it won't be enough. And now Drew wants to farm those familiars up, and he doesn't snare one. Very nice.
Nicely done. And again, it's this Earthshaker. You're just able to turn team fights around in a huge way with one ability. It's insane that, well, it's effective at all stages of the game if you can get past that rookie laning stage and into the later stages.
Things coming out on Hyde. He's just de-warding while he can and does get it off before he has to leave. Slowly but surely, this R side are getting big enough to contest here up against Boom. And you talked about that Skull Basher. It's almost there on Drew. SP now, and I'm sure after that he'll either just rush Satanic or try to rush the Abyssal itself. In fact, Drew's just going to find a Dragon Scale on the floor. So he'll just take that, why not? You've got to be a bit concerned here for Boom though, right?
That was Boom's Dragon Scale as well, so they're missing a tier 2 item right now.
Great news. But that Makoto Visage now, I asked the question again, it's not over yet, but it's getting to that stage. I just don't see as much influence.
Not quite as much. He's got his Hyperstone though, which is to be able to have. 27-minute mark, so yeah, kid out again, and it's close to that level 18 as well on this Visage, so he's going to be doing even more damage to these supports. Honestly, the thing that's deciding these team fights is Hustler. If you're able to find him out, he's done well to itemize for being elusive with the Shadow Amulet, going into the Shadow Blade. He's got a 4-staff queued up, he's got a Yules on himself, so I think he's doing everything right now. But if they are somehow able to catch him out, then I think even some fantastic plays from the rest of the team is going to be able to save him.
KYXY could be in danger top lane. He does blink away into the tree line, but you have plenty of scout ability there with those familiars, so he'll blink the other way. He just doesn't feel safe to go for the TP yet though. It's just fairly obvious what he's doing here. And, well, now he's been trapped up, so there's really no way out. He does Greaves it off though. With that, maybe he gets a blink though. No, he's been stunned up. Another track, another blink, he'll TP, and he will make it.
Dire's
Space created, Roshan's up.
Attack.
Won't be able to catch
See
him.
this? No, it's nighttime, so haven't the vision just yet, although Hyde's going to walk on.
Bottom tower is under attack.
They are going to go in as well. Indeed, actually going to start with this Roshan straight away.
Radiance on this Ember Spirit going to be really effective against the Boom lineup.
That it will be. He does come in. They of course are going to fight this next Roshan. It's going to be a very, very hard take for Boom unless they can wipe out RR.
He's tracked up. He needs to be very careful. He's only got the 1 Fire Remnant, about to have 2. You know how much you can be standing on these front lines, even with the Crimson Guard available.
Green's still just threatening with his body.
It's just a Sentry Ward battle outside the front of Roche.
Drew's going to go in now. So Makoto, hand scout, of course you got the Korean, but they're going to start with the Primal Split. However, those Brewlings are falling very, very quick. Now the Death Ward will come out with Rescue. Not doing that much though if you have to put it up that goal, but Brave Fish are out. He's got the Echo, he will hold out now. BKBs are flying out. Drew, Battle Trap is pop, Dream is all falling low. So is Hyde, so he's trying to do his Earthshaker. Now KYXY is trying to control up Makoto, but Makoto, he's doing too much damage to Drew. They have killed off Hustler on the Earthshaker as well, and Drew will go down along with Hyde on the bounty. But it's a triple kill out from Makoto. And unfortunately for Hustler, he was waiting for that perfect moment, but Hyde just wouldn't let him blink in.
Yeah, some great plays from Hyde, using the Sentry Ward battle to his advantage and making sure he was in the right position to make that sort of thing happen. Fortunate, I'm not sure how it happened on the Alacrity Ember Spirit, but I feel like his Radiance was toggled off for a long portion of that team fight. So while he was getting just focused down, There was
I
no
hope the
evasion
magnificent creature
being
did
applied
not
to him from that
suffer
mischance.
overmuch.
That's a bit of a blunder right there. I'm not sure why you didn't bother turning it off. Maybe just a misclick. Makoto does now have the AC though.
The only situation you can think about using it, I suppose, is when there was a smoke, but he made it really obvious that he was there, you know, running up into their face constantly, so I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to have it on.
Absolutely.
Strange
This
to
does
say,
mean KOX
Radiant's
on that
middle
clock is
tower
just going to have to
under
go
attack.
back, keep pushing that top lane, and well, Hyde was there trying to deal with it, but now he's going to be chased down by KOX. Still, that does mean you can safely push him this mid-tier team without the fear of the clock being there.
Things? Radiant's
Will
middle
easily
tower
go
has
down.
fallen.
Crimson Guard will not help.
Someone must be very
They
pleased with
start
themselves.
making their way down to the final outer tower. It's the bot tier 2.
How do you kill Makoto at this point? Just look at him. Look at all the auras that he has just sitting
Fire's top
above him.
tower is under attack.
Pretty ridiculous.
Must I
And that
repeat
craggy
myself?
coat picked up.
It's a problem. No, he's just casually sitting at 33 armor right now. It's
Dire's
a
top
lot.
tower is under attack.
They are going to try and force up Alacrity, just maybe find December. In fact, Token are going to be there. Can you get the stuns? No, he will be fine to run it out. Alacrity. Back is Sir. Fisher, better come out. He's going to try and fight. He will run it again. Dreamer Cell now with the Bloodline. He has no remnants left. He's stuck there with the Rupture. He's going to die.
Dominating.
Makoto now also killing off Nuts. Drew, BKB, TB, that's the only play left. And unfortunately KYXY has been left behind, and with that track they have plenty of vision. Bloodlight will not land, but they will tornado him up. Can they at least get a stun off in time? No, KYXY will blink again, but FBZ this time is there with his own blink, and this time around he does die to Soul Assumption. Tips are going out to Makoto.
Yeah, opting to hold on to that Lotus Orb, understandably, just to be able to use it right at the last second, maybe get a TP away, but that just meant that track was constantly on him and they knew exactly where to run.
Alacrity though with that remnant back, was that not a misclick that I saw? He got ruptured. He rendered it away, but kind of came back to another remnant that was there on the east side of this Radiant jungle. And he had no remnants left.
Radiant's bottom tower is
still
being
rushed the whole
subjected
time.
to extreme
Yeah,
violence.
it's been a rough one for Alacrity. I think we can all agree on that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Disagree.
Radiant's bottom that tower ever has
Boom,
been
they're going to
cause
start
for
going down
celebration?
the bot lane through to the tier 3 tower. Of course, we all know the push potential of Makoto right now. He does also have the Aegis, so you are going to have to kill him off twice. They defend this. Crimson Guard will definitely help. Alright, did they have a repair kit? I could have sworn it was Boom Esports that found one.
Yes, it was.
So Boom just gonna maintain control of this Radiant jungle, just not really going anywhere. Hyde will rotate around, do bounty hunter things. Looks like Drew is just gonna be stuck in his own triangle for a bit. In fact, he'll just back off again. He's trying to finish off that Satanic now on that troll.
See them cower before us.
See, despite all of this, it's still not completely out of their hands. You know, you feel like it's just one big team fight that could potentially turn things around for RR. You know, be a few misplays by Alacrity, unfortunately, putting them out of contention in this game, but seeing time and time again that Echo Slam, what it's capable of doing.
They have smoked up, trying to maybe make it play.
100 gold away from this Satanic as well on Drew, so maybe he's trying to create a little space around that, make sure they get at least 2 of these bounties.
That they will.
I'll take that.
Yeah, he'll definitely have time to just finish off the Satanic now. Whether it's going to be
Hopefully he
enough.
doesn't get caught out in this mid lane. You've got all of Boom coming.
Uh-oh, Makoto going to be there. They're just going to loop around Drew. He's still around the area, but they can only get a track off.
That'll spot out the fact that he's finished the Satanic though. Oh, nice Lotus Orb usage coming through from KYXY. And that Aegis is gone, so maybe that'll spook Boom a little bit.
Same time you got that Satanic, you got an Abyssal Blade now on Dreamer Cell. But definitely with the Aegis going down, I don't believe Boom will try and risk this. And in fact, RR, they're the ones to smoke up. Pings that on Makoto.
That play, they need to make these ballsy plays. Locks the Echo straight away.
Yeah, just lock him down with the Sonic Wave as well. They do take him out, but now Boom, they want to keep fighting. But they have found the bounty high. He's going down, still trying to survive. Rupture is there. If they catch with that, or a tide that goes down with KOX on the top as well. Drew is still trying to fight. Phase Drift is out now on the BKB Bloodseeker. Stream itself just can't fight back, and he will die. It's a great team fight out. In fact, they may even find more. FBZ, no Primal Split left. Should not be able to survive this.
Makoto's got to be careful. He bought back for this. If they can chase him up, that'd be huge.
It would be.
Killing spree.
They do lose FBZ, and
They're still going. Find it.
you can find them. Could be at least one Rax. Hustler does get yours off. Push those. But he does block the way out. The Del Lackery just gonna loop around. The only plan Makoto seems to have is to try and just kill off Hustler, and he does do so. But where's the help from Lackery? Nuts comes in.
Dyer's top tower is protect like nobody.
He's got good back.
Maybe too late, Alacrity, he is falling low. He doesn't make his way in there. The Ember. But Makoto is still drifting around. They lose on themselves. It's a trouble for Makoto. Now Kesku comes in. Tries to BKB out.
Dyer's top tower is under
What have
attack.
they done?
Must I repeat myself?
They made him survive. You can understand why they went for that Fissure play with the Earthshaker. Obviously not connecting with it, but you have the Visage Familiars right on top of. Probably would have got it off if he waited any longer and at least tried to cut off the avenue of escape, just not able to burst him down quickly enough. I mean, we were talking about it before, right? He's got AC, Dominator, Pipe, and a Witless Shaco as well. And now level 25 plus 5 Gravekeeper's cloak stacks. Good luck killing Visage.
Oh, this is gonna be it's gonna be hard to watch. See if RR can get through all this. Looks like this side of Boom Esports are just gonna wait out the next Roshan.
Have the timer
Brace
exactly
yourself
down
for
because
sad
Makoto
tidings.
just body
Radiant's
checked it.
courier
It's still
has
going to be
been
another 10 or so
slain.
seconds, so they've got an
There is
idea of
certain
when,
to
but
be
not the exact timer.
Unimaginable retaliation.
Smoke up, or rather Shadow Blade up from Hustler. He's gonna run straight into that Witch Doctor, and that means Kesgu is gonna die. Hustler does secure the double damage rune for his team, so Drew gonna make his way over. They don't have a bottle or anything like that. He just picks it up and I guess prays the Roshan's there, but it is 35 seconds away.
And, well, he's got his level 25 as well on this Troll Warlord, so he's going to be able to spam out these Whirling Axes and fight a lot more aggressively into the Visage Familiars as well as this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, I mean, a 4-second cooldown, it's definitely gonna be one way to do it. They can't hit you, they can't really kill you.
Second cooldown for a 5-second blind duration. I'll take that every day, thank you.
Yeah, but now you've got to sight the Vice up on Makoto. So, get to that Hex. It may just not matter. Makoto may need to make his way back to that Roshan, because Drew has scouted it out on the Troll, and we'll get it started. KOXY is going to be right behind him to help him out with Nuts. Boom Esports may just allow this to go down, but I don't think that's the play.
They got to give this through to Alacrity with the Aegis, sorry, the Ag Scepter.
And so, Roshan passes into history.
Alacrity does get the Axe upgrade now, so he's a real menace. You also just have an MKB coming up on Drew, and well, Alacrity already
It's
going
an
in.
illusionist cave.
Maybe something could rush it up. The Echo has big unit. It's a fair bit of damage, but not enough. Now Dreamersault jumps in onto Nuts. They burst down the bait as well. Both supports going down, but Hustler did buy back. K1 still trying to fight up against Makoto, but he is taking 0 damage. There is the Fisher to fly out. It doesn't do much, but it gives time for KYXY to run out of there. Now Alacrity trying to play around. He got stunned. The Melodic, the Soul Assumption following him down. He takes so much damage. The Melodic might just kick him out in a dance. You've still got Drew though. Still trying to find that troll. Next up, does he get a battle off? He does. Still holds the Aegis, but look at the damage. It's doing nothing. Now he gets through the Grave People's close. They do some form of damage. Kenskru turns around, throws out the cast.
But what does he have?
Down. Doesn't have a battle trance, but please not.
He's got nothing.
At least KYXY does secure Kenskru. Now Sonic Wave coming up from that swamp, but he's going to be chased down. He won't blink away. There'll be an immediate buyback from Kenskru, and there's no buyback on the troll. He spent all his gold on that MKB.
Things could have gone so differently if perhaps you had Drew just sitting on the front lines fighting a bit more aggressively, but he was chasing around Kenskru for the first 5-10 seconds of that one, and didn't even die. You know, you've got the medallions, so you're very tanky in your own right. He's got the armor talent, and then just forced-starved himself away up onto some high ground. So some real good kiting come through from position 5 on Boom.
Yeah, they got these bulls. I don't think they can be
Why not? High pops, look at Makoto, look at this aura frenzy.
It's a lot of damage, a lot of orders coming out. Makoto can't be used here. But the Vice comes out. They're going to find another in the form of KYXY. He does buy back, but the Ancient is just under siege. They stun him up again. KYXY trying to run with that big Minotaur Horn. They do actually give up the Ancient now. They jump in Huntsman with the Echo. Doesn't really do that much. Kenskru will leave side back, but Makoto, he is a man of objectives. He is focusing down the Ancient, and it will be another victory there for Boom Esports. They do get the 2-0 for Ara, well, against Ara to finish this off, and well, this is the end of the group.
It sure is.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever try.